But we have a lot of things to talk about, and we are going to roll right along because we are discussing Image dumping Diamond. Diamond again, just taking L after L after L. It's pretty remarkable, but let's get into it. So, Diamond's deluxe tier of publishers now, which is the tier where you get preferred placement in Previews World, and all kinds of other like maximum discounts, all that great stuff. Now includes Massive Publishing, as I mentioned earlier, Aftershock Comics, Titan Comics, Ablaze Publishing, Frank Miller Presents, and the aforementioned Opus Comics. So, no Image.
That's it?
Yeah, those are the deluxe tier of publishers.
Wait, where did IDW and Dark Horse and all that stuff go? Did they leave a while ago too?
I think they did.
You like they did, yeah.
Yeah, I think they did.
Blow in the chat says, I'm a deluxe tier publisher now after this.
Hey, if Diamond wants to start distributing podcasts, we can talk. We'll talk about that, but then I want to hear Lunar's offer. I feel like they have a better offer.
Yeah, we do that. We're going to be back on SoundCloud.
Fuck that. We'll be on public access.
3 a.m.
Yeah. We have a 3 a.m. time slot on public access. So,
damn,
but only if you live in New York. Yeah, tune in. So this change is effective as of September on sales, which means that books ordered from June 14th onward, and that reflects direct market distribution. So that's worldwide, direct market, 2 comic shops. Now it's coming from Lunar. That means a lot of things. A lot of things. And I'm not sure if everybody has fully put all this stuff into perspective yet.
I certainly haven't.
That's okay. That's okay, because we're here to do that. So the first thing I want to bring up is now Lunar. So remember this. DC comic books come out when now?
Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. So if Lunar is publishing now DC and Image, if Image goes to Tuesday as well, that happened because of DC's own plans. They wanted to sync up with the rest of the book channel, and really almost all of entertainment, like physical media, digital media, like a lot of that stuff comes out on Tuesdays. And so they wanted to sync up with that, but certainly with their book channel market, which is Tuesday based. If Image makes that same decision, and Lunar is with that, which makes sense because they're shipping everything else on Tuesdays or for Tuesdays, are we looking at new comic book Tuesdays?
For Image as well. Interesting. I don't like that. I don't like that because Tuesday was enough of a change, and I'm like, all right, fine, only DC. I get that. But you fucking shit up. I don't know. You're messing with tradition. I don't like it. Don't do it.
How do you feel, Gil?
Did Lunar was the one that DC made with Midtown, is that right?
Yeah, I mean DC didn't exactly make them. Lunar is Lunar
or it's
Midtown?
the other one?
I think it's Lunar's DCBS. I think.
Okay.
I got you.
So I guess my question is, did the Tuesday change, that was a DC initiative more than a distribution initiative?
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. DC wanted this to synchronize with the book channel. Yep.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Could be. Yeah, I guess it depends on whether Image wants it to synchronize with the book channel.
It would make sense that they would want that. I think maybe even more than it would make sense for someone like Marvel. Just because so much of Image's, finances come from the book market and come from trades and, graphic novels and things like that. So getting all of that synchronized, because it's not really that much about floppies. Like, certainly that is a factor for DC and why they made that choice. But it's really because, if you look at Barnes and Noble, if you look at any other, book seller, those are all coming out on Tuesdays. So DC wants to get their books, their trades, right, in stores for that. Why wouldn't Image want that?
Yeah, especially like you say, their trades are the book market.
Yeah.
For Image. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're absolutely right.
And even then, if you're going to distribute, like to do 2 runs in a week, I can only imagine might prove out to be a bit like inefficient, like a cost perspective. Like I'm going to do 2 runs when I could just do the one with both.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And confirming that UCS was Midtown Comics and DCBS had Lunar or has Lunar.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, cool. So, I mean, look, I don't really care, I guess, but only if the whole industry moves. And I think that's really the question is, Image makes the decision to go Tuesdays. Maybe it's not even in their hands. Maybe it's just a Lunar choice. But either way, if that happens, does Penguin Random House and Marvel follow suit?
No.
Do we see the whole industry just shift to Tuesdays? Or are we really going to have 2 separate days as New Comic Book Day?
Maybe Marvel will take Thursdays. make my Marvel Mondays.
Ooh, I like that.
Sure. Dark Horse Fridays. Let's just screw
why
it
not?
all up.
Fuck it.
I don't see that happening. And you're saying, does Marvel therein join Lunar, or just the publication schedule?
Just the industry itself shifting to Tuesdays.
Yeah. Because Marvel's already got that sweet deal with Penguin Random House.
Yeah,
Right.
they're not leaving.
They ain't moving.
Yeah. No way.
I don't see it.
All right, fair enough. Well, let's read some quotes because the Image founders had things to say about this, and so did Steve Geppi, who is the owner of Diamond. And so let's start with Todd McFarlane. Todd said, "First and foremost, we want to thank Steve Geppi, Chuck Parker, and everyone at Diamond for their ongoing service and all they've done for Image over the years. For 3 decades, they have been at our side, supporting our books from the moment we founded our company back in 92. Every Image comic published since our inception in 92 has been distributed to thousands of retail outlets by Diamond, and they have played a very important role in our company's evolution." So, Todd just saying exactly what you would expect. Thanks for the memories. We're moving on. That's a long partnership.
Yeah.
A long partnership.
30 plus years.
Yeah. And that's something that, when people talk about comics, it's like you have to remember that there is so much history, and you could also say baggage, between these companies. This is a long-standing relationship. The people that run Image now are the same almost exact people that ran it when it started. And the same people that run Diamond are the same exact people that ran it when it started.
Just less gray hair amongst them.
Yeah. If that. Some of them probably started going gray in the 90s.
I got my first gray, guys. It was like right over here. I got a haircut, so it went away, but mine popped up right here.
Marco, nobody cares. No, nobody.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're here to
What
talk about
are you, an Image founder?
Eric Larson said, "It was not a move we made lightly, though, and ultimately the change was made because of the benefits to readers and retailers who are our real customers. There are services Lunar will provide that will make it easier for stores to buy our titles and for fans to find our books."
Interesting.
We'll go back to that. We'll
Okay.
return to what Eric Larson had to say there. Christina Merkler, who is the co-owner of Lunar, said, "We are thrilled to announce our exclusive worldwide distribution deal with Image Comics. We are constantly seeking innovative ways to expand our reach and bring exceptional content to our retailer accounts around the world. We look forward to working closely with Image and continuing to provide top-notch service to our direct market accounts. That's great. Christina Merkler, by the way, we'll probably talk more about her a little later. She's a very interesting person in that she co-owns Lunar Distribution, but she has significant problems with the direct market because she feels, and we're going to talk about this more probably, but she feels that the direct market is its own worst enemy.
Oh, she published like a piece a few weeks back, yeah?
A piece that she was interviewed for appeared in Popverse a couple of months ago. I've been trying desperately to bring it up during the show, but just hasn't really been an opportunity. Today's the day.
There you go.
Steve Jeppy said, over the past 30 years, Diamond's collaboration with Image has been a source of inspiration and motivation. While their announcement today marks a new chapter in our partnership, I am delighted that Diamond will continue to play a vital role as a key source for Image Comics to the direct market. As always, we remain passionate about what we do and dedicated to delivering excellence for the direct market and our partners. Our resolve to provide innovative solutions and exceptional service remains stronger than ever. Is that what Diamond's known for?
Exceptional service.
Exceptional service and innovative solutions.
Not in my experience.
There was a survey that was done highlighting the different distributors and their pros and cons, and it was done by Comics Progress, which is Comics Pro. And I wonder if they had surveyed the various retailers and asked them, do you feel that Diamond is known for innovative solutions and exceptional service? I wonder if they would have said yes to that. But the person whose quote I wanted to read the most is none other than who, Marco?
Jeppy.
No, we just did that.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Pay
I was
attention.
like,
It's from Eric Stevenson. Eric Stevenson is the publisher and CCO of Image Comics. And he said, this is a big change, but we will still be working with Diamond in other capacities and looking forward to maintaining those relationships with the Diamond team for years to come. Lunar is an impressive new player in the direct market, and we are eager to work with them on the next phase of our development, as well as joining DC in leading the industry toward what we believe are positive changes for everyone. That's really interesting, Eric Stevenson. That's really interesting because here's a quote from June 13th, 2020, from that same man. Now, let me take you back to that time really quick so that you know what I'm talking about. This is at the height of the pandemic, right after DC said, we are done with Diamond and we are, doing the Lunar and UCS thing. This is right after that. This is directly in response to that. Eric Stevenson said that the decision was a hasty, sociopathic decision made by people who do not care about the long-term welfare of our marketplace, let alone comics.
Yikes. That aged.
That aged like milk.
You think my takes aged like milk?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Especially the AI ones.
But not the Lunar and this conversation. Surely I was prophetic here.
It's funny you say that because I went back and listened to those old conversations.
Fuck.
I sure did.
You knew he would.
Yeah.
How
I
could
set
I not?
myself up for this shit.
Dude, as soon as I saw the Eric Stevenson quote, I was like, whoa, wait a second. I got a long memory, pal. I remember you saying something different a few years ago. Because at that time, all of us, except Marco, in fact,
Yeah.
were very scared of what DC was doing. And so was Image, obviously.
And frankly, I will stand by that attitude, rightfully so. At the height of the pandemic, like,
I agree. I think making the decision that they made at the time, like at that exact time, was hasty. I don't know if I would go as far as sociopathic at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was rough. But then when you think about it, right, just shy of 3 years later, he's saying we're joining DC and leading the industry toward what we believe are positive changes for everyone. Who does everybody include?
Sociopathic.
Yeah.
Like, it has to be, and I think when Lunar first popped up and we started seeing the differences in that distribution, I think one of the things that we noted was, or that retailers had noticed, was packaging's better, things came on time, the delivery actually made it in a number of instances, right? And so I wonder if they've continued to push on that in ways that maybe on our end we're not seeing, because we're end consumer, but something within the distribution, something within the workflow, those things have probably improved to some degree, especially as Lunar has gotten like a better foothold and grasp on the distribution business itself, that small successes and optimizations have been made enough so that Image was like, actually, this kind of makes sense.
You're 100% right. And I have proof, because the survey that I talked about features responses from retailers all over the United States. And the way that the Comics Progress survey sum up makes it seem is that they're all pretty close together in terms of how retailers feel about them. And I guess you could come away with that conclusion, but I read it and I came away thinking, wow, Lunar is the best distributor in comics. That's what the retailers seem to be telling me. They're number one in packaging. They're number one in minimizing damages. They're number one in shipping costs. Like they're not number one in absolutely everything, but they are by and large they're number one in comics in time for New Comics Day. They're doing amazingly. And don't get me wrong, Diamond is doing well in certain aspects. So is Penguin Random House and Universal, but the overall grade has Lunar on top by at a 4.0 out of 5. So they're doing amazing.
I think this is that like competition angle of you introduce those new players into the market and somebody's going to be doing something better, and this is that paying off.
Yeah.
Good. Yep. Thanks, capitalism.
So, out of the quotes that I read, one of them was interesting, and I want to jump back to what Eric Larson said. Eric Larson said, it was not a move we made lightly, though, and ultimately the change was made because of the benefits to readers and retailers who are our real customers. Every single quote that I read, with no exception, either directly, well, actually, before I say that, let me ask you, who are the real purchasers of comics?
The shops.
Marco, what'd you say?
The shops.
And Kale, you said retailers.
Yeah.
Every single person whose quote I just read either directly says direct market or references retailers. Everyone. They don't all reference fans, but they all reference retailers.
We learned that from Dan Didio. Never would have occurred to me had it not been for that interview.
It's B2B, right? Like you're distributing to another business. Yeah.
You're distributing to another business that essentially has full control over what the potential buyer reads, at least what they see in the store. What they see in the store, what's promoted to them, what they don't see, what's not promoted to them, all in control of the retailers.
You can ask the retailer to get something for you. Maybe they will, maybe they won't.
They can literally tell you no.
Yeah.
And then you just won't have access to that at your store. And you can't just say, nuts, I'll just go to the comic shop down the street. That is the comic shop down the street.
Yeah.
And there ain't no other comic shop down the street. Most likely, in order for you to get to another shop, you probably have to drive maybe a half an hour, maybe an hour, and maybe that owner sucks too. Who knows?
Yeah, even in the city, it's like a 30-minute train ride to the next one if you're lucky in the same borough, you know?
Yeah.
And that's probably a midtown.
So, I mean, it's just amazing to me that, you know, these kinds of moves get made and everybody talks about them, huge, you know, announcement and things like that. What does this actually matter in the grand scheme of things when it comes to getting Image Comics in the hands of people who actually buy and read them?
Nothing's gonna change.
Exactly. Nothing changes. Nothing changes. Well, I mean, in my mind, right? Lunar distributing Image Comics, getting them to stores faster, getting them to stores in better condition. Let's say all of that is accurate. What does that have to do with getting a person who doesn't go to comic shops to go to the comic shop and buy an Image comic book?
Oh, yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, you're. This is the market that you're hitting, right? You have your size. That's it.
That's Image's real problem. That's every publisher's real problem, is getting people to buy the books that normally don't. Not comic book fans, but human beings. People who might be inclined to buy comic books.
That mysterious, unactivated reader.
Right.
Sure.
So this go ahead.
But I like this is the problem that Lunar's out here to solve.
Well, who is here to solve? Christina Merkler, in the interview that I referenced earlier with Popverse, said, quote, "Sometimes the direct market is its own worst enemy. Everyone says, oh, we need to grow the readership. We need to grow the readership. But no one ever actually says, how do we grow the readership? I'm not saying that I have all the answers, but I do think that sometimes the direct market is its own worst enemy and it's almost preventing itself from growing. It's not almost, it is."
Hot damn. I think that one was paywalled, so I couldn't read it.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've got that hot Patreon money Sean can just throw around to get over the paywall now.
No, I read the free quote. I did not read the whole interview. That's a great quote, and I think what she said is absolutely accurate. But who's responsible for solving the problem? If it's not Lunar, if it's not Diamond, everybody was blaming Diamond 3 years ago, saying they were a major reason why comics were not where they need to be. I don't disagree with that. But if now Diamond is not responsible, and Lunar is stepping up, and they've got DC and they've got Image, are they responsible? Is Penguin Random House responsible? I thought Penguin Random House was going to have all these bright ideas about how to market comics outside of comic book stores. Where's that?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they were like, we're bringing back into bookshops and all that kind of stuff.
Whose job is it to solve the problem that comics has?
The publisher. They need to bring people in to the door to want to pick up a book. Like, you have to activate somebody enough to want to make it out to the shop or to buy something digitally, to care, to want to read. That's on behalf of the brand and IP that you have. You have to flex that, and you have to attract those people, because Lunar's just the process to get to the retailer. The retailer, the retailer's going to influence that, but I think you have to get somebody to the retailer first.
Kill.
I would have said marketing.
Let's go.
The marketing
real marketing
of the publishers.
Ouch.
Yeah.
See, I struggle with this because I don't.
Yeah, that's a guess on my part. I don't know.
Right. I certainly, if Christina Merkler doesn't have the answers, I'm not going to say that I do, although I kind of feel like I do. But I don't think that the responsibility falls solely on any one of these entities, but I don't think that they're all trying to do the same thing. And that's the problem. because retailers and distributors don't have any skin in the game of digital. They don't care that you sell comics digitally, in the sense that it does not benefit them for you to do that. So the publishers are literally always walking a tightrope. And that's a significant problem. And this problem does not exist in literally any other industry that I can think of. Where else is it? Like, obviously Best Buy, for example, doesn't benefit from the fact that Sony sells Spider-Man games digitally through their marketplace. That's not a benefit to them. But they also can't they don't have enough power to influence whether or not games can be sold digitally, and for how much and when. Those things seem to be, as far as my knowledge goes, up to Sony. Best Buy is just one of several vehicles for you to get your game if you want to, and that's it. And they do lots of other things. So if games are being sold online, that's not the end of the world for them. But it's literally the end of the world for retailers and distributors if digital were to be 50% of the market. That's game over. How do you get around that? If you're Marvel or DC, how do you get around that? It's a house of cards. I've been calling it a house of comics. And
House of floppies.
It's doomed.
Yeah.
The doomed feels strong.
But what do you mean? Like the future is digital. I don't think you can argue that. It's only a matter of time before we can't cut down any more trees. Like, at some point it's going to get hard to keep making these floppies. It just is.
But I don't think that the digital space has enough of like a value yet to want to replace that. Oh, I guess yet.
That's what I'm saying.
You're right in that it doesn't, but what I'm saying is, like, Marvel and DC can't push, they cannot possibly push digital in the way that I'm sure they would probably like to.
Yeah.
Because of the other two entities. This is a triangle. The holy trinity of comics is the publishers, the distributors, and the retailers. I did not say reader. Mm-hmm. We are somehow, in the structure that has been created, the least important factor in terms of those three other entities, but also the only factor that results in them making money. It's insane. To me, it's nuts. Top Lane says, you give me a 10 to 25% discount on digital, I would never go back to my comic book shop. That's the exact reason why they don't do that.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Hit that convenience factor at that point.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that we would see like the number go from 10 to 20% of digital readers, right? Because I personally am of the same opinion I've always been, which is that if you're a physical comics reader and that's what you really, really love to do, you're probably not going to be incentivized to make the jump unless you literally have to. But at what point does the scale tip, or at what point is this unsustainable? So there's a lot of factors to that.
Classy says, get the manga industry to market comics, and yes, the future is digital, not and only available for trades and hardcover. Only available? No, I think for trades and hardcovers, those are going to be. That's where I feel like a majority of like Image and other publishers make some money back, because the floppy, that's like too costly to produce consistently and make a return on.
What is?
To make the floppy versus the trade.
You're saying that it's harder to make a return on your investment through floppies and trades.
Right.
Sure. I think that, trades have a higher valuation. So because of that, you're going to get more money. And then it's obviously a double dip because this is stuff that you've already produced once in floppy. You're just binding it together, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
But Marvel and DC, I'll speak more from Marvel. Marvel didn't even have 2 books in the top 750, I think it was, of trade and graphic novel sales last year. They had 1 book, Moon Knight.
Damn.
So if they were to make that choice to go fully, backlog and trade waiting physical releases, and that's all you had for physical was old stuff and trades, I don't know how that works for Marvel and DC either, because they make a lot of money on floppies.
And on that manga industry to market comics, I don't know what that looks like what they do differently or how they do it differently. I think the end user there is activated to a different degree and at larger scale. So I think that's a different comparison. I wonder what they do, but
it's also just a whole different market,
right?
Altogether, like their stuff, they on the outset, they've already wildly segmented their audience, right? But they've also made it insanely available.
Mm-hmm. And cost effective.
Yeah.
Top Lane says it would force them to reprint old stuff, which would be great for us. I mean, they already do. They reprint stuff all the time. Like, things are not new comics. They're not going out of print. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't live in that world anymore. They keep this stuff in print in perpetuity. Now, there are some old comics that they cannot reproduce because it would be too costly due to the rights agreements that existed at the time. So there's some things we'll just never see again. But that's old stuff. But if it's from like the 80s or 90s on, and it's sort of popular, you're gonna see it.
No question.
Yeah, that's just that's how it works. So let me ask you guys this. Has the comeback for Diamond actually been bigger than the setback?
Has it been a comeback?
Anyone remember that quote? That was the big tagline that Diamond was using in 2020. The comeback will be bigger than our setback.
Oh,
that was the big tagline.
Right.
So has it really been?
Bro, what was it? Book of Magic #4, some shit saved the industry.
It's Daphne Byrne
Daphne
6.
Byrne.
That's it.
Oh my God, yes. Yes.
Good book, by the way.
Yep.
Well, save the industry.
Nah, dude, they're dropping the ball left and right like that.
They have the ball.
Fair. They've been fumbling the ball since they got it, and now it's just in free fall. Like this. No, this has been continued exodus on the part of publishers. The people that they're trying to acquire that are their deluxe tier now are nowhere near the kind of quality that or not quality, but the
publishing magnitude.
Yeah. Like there's no weight there anymore, and I don't know that is of value to Diamond. Like, yeah, you have these, and maybe you got to pump out more. You can pump out more volume, or you have to acquire more smaller publishers, but people don't know who those are, and that's hard to then be like, yeah, we're gonna get people hyped about Ablaze. They have some good books, but
Yeah, it's just, and we talked about this the last time when DC left Diamond. It created a hole in the orders that the retailers were making, and so in order to keep their discount at the rate that it was, they had to order up to match what they were doing before without DC. And so just figure that the average comic shop probably orders more Marvel and DC comics than anything else. and then Image after that. So when you lose Image, and let's say, because again, Diamond does not have Marvel or DC, Image is probably what, 40% of your order from Diamond at this point? Gone. So if you are Diamond loyal, how do you now keep your order high enough to keep your discount without Image? If Image was 40% of your order, fill it with a Blaze, like Marco said? No.
Yeah, pump it full of Funko Pops and
Action figures.
fucking back issues and old trades, I guess.
Yeah. It's a really difficult situation. But if you're a retailer, for all your loyalty to Diamond over the years, if you stuck with them, if you didn't leave them after they lost DC, if you stuck with them after Marvel, and you still want to stick with them, this is what you get for it. San Diego Comic-Con is an event that is sponsored often by Diamond. And one of the things that retailers would get was, if you were a retailer, you would get free access to San Diego Comic-Con. Well, not anymore. Not this year. Retailers have lost their free San Diego Comic-Con badges. They must now pay $330 per employee for the weekend. Do you want to know how much of a discount that is?
Not.
$0 off.
Frankly, for a retailer, that's lower than I would have figured.
Yeah, right.
The benefit is that they don't have to wait in the line to get the badge. That's it.
Oh, wait, what? That's it?
And they're getting a thank you lunch at the event, which will include limited edition items and swag bags. So if you can shell out the $330 to get to the event, which you don't have because Diamond is taking all your money because you lost your tier of savings from ordering through Diamond because you don't buy Image to them anymore because you can't. If you somehow scrounge up 330 shekels to get to San Diego Comic-Con, on top of the flight, on top of the hotel stay, on top of carrying your works so that you can sell them to make some money back, what they'll give you is a swag bag.
Hey, they're feeding me.
And they'll feed you.
You'll get a gold Batman figure.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You'll get some convention food court burgers and fries. and go ahead.
A Booster Blue action figure.
Yeah. Love it. But let's talk positives. Let's talk solutions. Let's talk upside. Because there has to be something, right? Can't be all bad.
I doubt it.
Well, I'll say this. The move is good for Image.
So,
I think at this point, we can all say that Lunar has been beneficial to the industry. And so Image moving that direction is good. That's positive. I don't think this kills Diamond, though.
no.
It makes them a much smaller player, but they're a player nonetheless.
I think Diamond has done... You'll be shocked by this, maybe. I think Diamond has made the right decisions to diversify themselves in the wake of COVID. Diamond sells lots of toys, lots of cards, like physical playing cards and collectibles and things like that. So they need comics, but they don't only need comics. And so that's really smart on their end. They're not dead. They're not. This is not the end of Diamond by any means, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
I think if they shift over to Tuesdays as an industry, that doesn't matter. I'll go Tuesdays. I don't care. That's actually better for my life.
And read in advance.
Yeah, that's better for our show because then we have an extra day to read the books for Pals Pulls.
Yeah.
It's irrelevant. So honestly, those are the positives that I see out of this. nothing really changes until the industry collectively decides that it wants to solve its problems. Go ahead.
Sorry, I think also like the moves Diamond has been making in the indie space is also like, sorry you have to be with Diamond indie creators, but if this change makes Diamond innovate even slightly, to move toward indie creators and indie publishers, that gets indie books out to more shops because Diamond already has all those connections.
Right.
Yeah.
So if the mainstream industry moves to Tuesdays and Diamond's like, well, let's just make it Indie Wednesdays.
I like that.
That's not nothing.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. I think that, unfortunately, retailers might be the roadblock there, but that depends. That depends entirely on how Diamond restructures its, if they choose to restructure its rewards program, to give discounts. Because if they don't, retailers will have to get crafty about how they sell the books you're talking about.
Yeah,
that's not impossible, but they would have to buy in on that marketing strategy of Indie Wednesdays.
Yeah, and they won't.
And they won't. And that's again, Best Buy does not influence whether or not you buy the next Spider-Man game, other than being given some incentive on the part of Sony to say, hey, Best Buy exclusive black suit costume if you buy it from Best Buy. Amazon exclusive amazing Bagman costume if you buy it from Amazon. That's it. That's their only influence. And that's how it's supposed to be. That's why I shop in Midtown. I don't care what retailers think about my buying decisions, and they shouldn't influence them, other than to try to get people to buy things that they might not normally know about, or catering their offerings to the individual interests. If I go into the shop, the only thing the retailer should be consumed with is how to give me the best experience and sell me on the things that will make me want to continue to read comic books, not any other agenda. I don't care.
Yeah, 100%.
It has to stop. They have to get it together and realize, as big as and important as you think you are, 10 years from now, you might not have a job. Diamond, retailers, you might not have jobs. It's realistic. But that's not what I hope for. I actually love comic book stores, and I love the direct market. It has problems, but I love it. And I don't want any of this to go anywhere, but they got to make some better choices. That's all.
Better decisions.
Yeah, that's all. Catherine says, Sean, I just want to say you're always really great at painting a picture for us. I love it so much. Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. If I wasn't good at it, that'd be a problem, because I've been doing this for a while. Classy says, yeah, we need more nerd culture present out in the open in the United States. That's funny, because I feel that nerd culture is pretty out in the open. I feel like it's bigger than ever.
This was for context. We were talking about like the difference between Japan and the U.S. Like over there, that nerd culture is much like propagates a lot more.
Sure, that's fair.
Stuff like putting comic advertisements in the subways, and
right? Yeah, like actually doing things to potentially activate users.
That's such a small, simple decision that anyone could make and just do it. Like, I can't imagine those subway ads are that expensive.
And would bring in numbers.
Sure. The webtoon ads that they had in subways sparked a lot of... Yes, Marco, it was. Sparked a lot of controversy, but people saw them.
Yeah.
So if there was an advertisement for Marvel Comics, I imagine people would see them.
In France, there's a citywide Comic-Con called Angoulême. The whole city's taken over by this convention. And in the Paris metro, during Angoulême, there are ads and banners and celebrating comics and BD and the whole thing, so that you'll go to Angoulême.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Yeah.
sick.
And it's an entirely different city, and there are ads in the metro. Like,
Yep. The one thing about those things is you need to have a relatively large budget. I don't know what the costs are in Europe, but at least in the States, for something like to get in the subways, like in airports, probably like $100,000.
is that all?
Oh, dude, comic book marketer, the amount of budget you'll get is like maybe 300 for the month. That's a third of your budget. Like that's a big decision to be making.
Yeah, but for a Disney or a Warner Brothers, the two staple the two staples of the industry, like, they could afford it.
I think that assumes that they're giving the comics that much of a priority.
That's what I'm saying.
Can I tell you a fun fact that I recently learned, Kale? In 1972, no, 4, something like that. Warner wanted. This is how cyclical and comedic and typical this industry is. At that time, 50 years ago, the impending new president of DC Comics and editor-in-chief had to convince Warner that they should not scrap weekly comics and only reprint and license the rights to print new comics to other publishers.
Huh.
I say that to say that's how little that Warner and probably Disney now have ever cared about DC and Marvel.
The comic space that they own in general.
Yep. It's a sad state of affairs, but it's always been, so it's fine, right?
Struggle.
Yeah, it builds character. Hey, look, I love comics. We all love comics. That's not in question here. I think the industry will be okay ultimately. However they fix it, however they solve these issues, it'll be fine.
Solve the issues, quote unquote.
Well, like at the end of the day, we just want them to do right by the industry.
Exactly. 150 million %.